Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. Hope you are able to hear me. Good morning to one and all. Good day, Daisy. Thanks for confirming that audibility is fine. Let me display the PowerPoint presentation. Asian session live market analysis on September 26 between 5 and 5:30 GMT. And we'll track the market using the live market code page. And in the code page, we will be looking for the initial highs and the initial lows which are set and the current market levels, and try to understand what sort of moves they are trying to do during this particular event. So I'll give the link for the live market code page. Okay, now we should be able to open it in a browser. I'll also focus the camera over the live market code page. Okay. Currently, you come across Euro is trading around 1.3403, 1.03405, 1.3392 has become the low, and 1.3577 has become the high, and 95 pips negative net change is seen. So that means from Friday close, it has dropped about 95 pips at the current level. So almost about 100 pips it dropped and formed 1.3392, and then you find initially there was an upward move and followed by that a downward move, and currently holding near that of the low. This is what you come across in the case of Euro. But in the case of GBP, it made a nominal gain to 55.11 as the high and 54.37 is the low, which is still intact, and currently trading around 54.48, 54.52, and you find 17 pips negative net change. So since the rumor is pertaining to the Greece default, so Euro has made more drop when compared to that of GBP, and this helps Euro GBP to come down below that of 0.87, and it has already dropped about 61 pips. So using this particular news, they are trying to handle Euro GBP cross. And also you come across in the case of CHF, it is currently trading around 0.9110, 0.9113, 0.9029 is the low, 0.9118 is the high. So it is trading near that of the high. After Friday close, started gaining the levels quickly, and it has not made any drastic drop. So when you check it to that of Euro made a quick upward move and then made the drop, whereas CHF just holding around and made a nominal dip and formed 90.29 as the low. When Euro was rising, CHF did not drop much, and when Euro has dropped, CHF has gained, and it shows 54 pips positive net change in the case of CHF, USD CHF. When Euro has lost about 98 pips, only 54 pips are gained by that of CHF. So they are holding here around 91 area and absorb those who have taken the long positions to liquidate the long. Then subsequently they wanted to make the one-sided rise. So you could have noticed that from 0.8085 area and 86 area, once they crossed 0.86 in the case of CHF, we have been seeing the one-sided rise. It went up to 90, then came down to 96.90, and then started gaining again to 91. So this time they will go up to 93.50 and then make a drop to 92 and then gain again one-sided to 95. So these are all good opportunities to take buy positions during dip in the case of USD CHF. And so you come across the one-sided move happening in the case of CHF as anticipated. And Euro, if you see that it was hovering around in the same level, not losing much of the level when compared to that of the gains what you come across in the case of CHF. So this is how they create the USD bullish field and then gain more levels in the case of CHF. Later on gain the levels in the case of Euro and hold USD CHF. So as a result, you come across from Euro CHF from that of 1.01 area, it has come to 1.22 area. So it has come So that of 1.2209, 1.2212, 1.2203 is the low, 1.2262 is the high. And you know that attribute is S&B wants to peg it around 1.25. Later on they will say we will peg it around 1.30, 1.35, 1.40 like that. But it is in the ascending line and it is expected to continue to gain. For that, Euro has to gain as well as USD CHF has to gain. So if you understand the logistics behind it, so you will not give much importance to that of the rumors what they are trying to create. And at that times they say that grid could default whenever the week starts, and then subsequently they said somebody is coming for the support and it may not happen immediately. All sorts of attributes they try to give it and ultimately create uncertainty to the traders holding positions. Or they just make the move and induce the traders to feel that, okay, there could be some raise in the case of Euro. Then they try to take a buy position and make a small dip and just discourage them holding the long positions. So swings are happening in the case of Euro and GBP, and one-sided rise is happening in the case of CHF as well as in the case of Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar, if you see it, it has already gained about 75 pips and now comfortably above that of the parity as envisaged. As I explained that they will not hold near that of the parity just like that, and they are expected to gain more levels. And when the traders turn short, thinking that it could reverse, and they just make once that sort of move and subsequently continue to rise. So these are all the trap strategies. At the same time, they also wanted to weaken Canadian dollar. 1.0352, 1.0356 are the current levels, 1.0269 is the low, 1.0354 is the high, 74 pips positive net change is seen. As envisaged, Australian dollar has comfortably come below that of the parity and it is currently trading around 0.9694, 0.9697, 0.9695 is the low, 0.9860 is the high. Such a big move, they gained quickly and dropped it and breached the low what they have set, and they are holding around that. So 82 pips negative net change is seen. So as I explained earlier, Canadian dollar and Australian dollar are expected to lead the rally with regard to USD gaining move, and those currencies which have undergone the multi-year trend reversals are expected to show the USD gaining moves, but Euro and GBP are expected to show USD weakening move from time to time and slowly gain the levels. And this could be surprising many, but the players are known to make the contrarian moves. And if you take the example in 2008, Euro and GBP, they made the gains and they raised Euro GBP to 0.98 level, and everybody was talking about that it could reach parity Euro GBP and probably GBP could merge with that of Euro. And you know, when they dropped CHF and they also collaborated or they also explained or give a possibility that Euro and CHF could come to parity. But what happened? They subsequently gained it. So they handled Euro GBP during that particular time in 2008. This time they are expected to handle Euro CHF. So when they want to handle Euro CHF and also GBP CHF, they have to considerably gain the levels in the case of Euro and GBP and also rise alternatively in the case of CHF. So in all, you can do only buy and sell trade in all the four majors because they intend to make contrarian move. Now yen is the one which is hovering around that of 76, and people might be wondering what is happening, but the players are accumulating around 76, just going up to 76, 74 and 77, closer to 77, and then came down to 76, 10, 76, 5 and things like that. They are making 100 pips consolidation. One downward stop and extended downward stop and the gain could just discourage any long holders to liquidate, and afterwards, similar to that of CHF, they wanted to make one-sided rise. And probably they would come across a lot of traders holding derivative positions. So that is why they are just dragging the market in holding around 76 till the last week. So this week, the last week of the month of September, they could make very quick downward and the upward moves. So a downward extended stop and an upward move are expected in the case of USD-Yen. And if you see in the case of Yen crosses, they already come to 102.23 in the case of Euro GBP. It's dropped about 100 pips because Euro is showing negative net change and Yen is also showing negative net change when CHF is showing positive net change. You can understand how they are trying to push it downward forcibly, induce all the long holders to liquidate. And so anybody will think that it has breached the support and it could go down further, and there is no support seen below that, and that sort of news will be seen, and then subsequently they accumulate all. Nobody questions when the market is so bearish and the market is dropping like 9 pins, who is buying? So if you question it, you will be able to understand. Otherwise, the trade will not happen. All are becoming sellers and there is no buyer. Then there can be only a downward circuit filter. And the market will show one-sided sellers and no buyers. That sort of scenario will come and the market has to halt. So they are not doing it that way. So instead, they are just trying to buy in doing the circular trade and dropping about 100 pips automatically. The trade is holding long even at 1.103 will try to liquidate thinking that it will go below 100. Then similarly in the case of GBP, they had dropped nominally 31 pips negative net change because the net change in the case of GBP is lesser and when compared to that of Euro. And they are expected to make this sort of moves and quickly when they drop USD Yen, probably they could gain the levels in the case of Euro and GBP at that time, and you may not come across for the big drop in the case of Yen crosses. So whenever they are making this contrarian move of dropping Euro, dropping Yen, try to see that the low has not been breached for 30 minutes in the majors. USD-Yen, Euro-Yen and Euro USD and USD-Yen. If they stop cutting the low and also stop cutting the low for 30 minutes during the mid-session, in the case of Euro-Yen, you can try to take a buy position. Still use the hedging order so that any level buy or a sell, you can limit the risk by keeping 50 pips hedging order. And in case of the hedging is filled, watch for 30 minutes. If the hedging is making profit, keep stop at entry. If it is not making profit, close it and keep another hedging order and try to maximize the profit with regard to the buy position. And if you could do that sort of trade, you will find that any level you enter, you will not incur just like that a big profit. Only if you trade without a stop, then the risk becomes unlimited. And whether you buy it at 1.35 or 1.34 level in the case of Euro, it is immaterial as long as after your buy the market goes up. After your sell, the market comes down. These two are the important factors. And if you think that, okay, near that support, I'll try to buy, or near that resistance, I try to sell, then probably you may see that the players are not respecting such levels. That is the biggest problem. So always look into that of the initial low and the initial high, what they have set it, and around that you can try to take it. And you know also the limitations, they have dropped about 103 pips now in the case of Euro, so maximum 150 pips. Once they do it, then you can see very rarely they do 200 pips in the event of a knee-jerk reaction. Otherwise, they just reverse it during the day. When GBP is also not participating in the drop, you can understand it is a local move in the case of Euro. They are trying to do it and they could probably rise GBP first, and based on that sentiment, Euro is also expected to gain the levels. So they can create the sentiments by using any pair for that matter, or quickly drop USD Yen and create the USD bearish sentiment and start gaining the levels. So at each and every time they use a different pair and use a different type of news or the attribute and try to make the market moves and create the market sentiments. After creating the sentiments, once the traders commit more positions, they reverse it by acting against the traders. This is what day in and day out you come across, but still we worry about so many problems of the market. Then let me come back to that of the PowerPoint presentation. So expected market moves for today. So during the Japanese session, swing and firm up moves are expected. They are expected to slowly firm up. Probably GBP could take the initiative of firming up Mars. And European session, swing and firm up moves are expected again. And slowly they are expected to make the intentional gain. So slow swing and rise moves are expected in the case of Euro, and GBP as an intentional move. There may not be any quick rise and things like that. Then during the US session, they could make some visible rise. These are all the expected market moves for today. And in this week, this is the last week of the month. So you could come across Euro and GBP. They have made the drop now and they are expected to gain some more levels. And then USD CHF and USD CHF is also expected to gain as a contrarian move. And yen might undergo a small drop below that of 76. But at that time, yen crosses may not make any big drop because they could gain levels in the case of Euro and GBP. At the moment, they are handling yen crosses by making contrarian moves. And once Euro and GBP becomes positive, show positive net change, and yen shows negative net change, very less impact will be seen in the case of yen crosses. Then afterwards, you could come across Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all days. You could come slow gains during the market hours in the case of Euro and GBP. So the giant, the US dollar, the sleeping giant has woke up, and it is expected to go back to sleep after taking enough food. So that is what you are expected, and the forecast algorithm expects. And normally the giants only wake up for a brief time, and afterwards when everybody is afraid of the giant will be sleeping all along, and you will find people will be doing all other things. And so Euro and GBP has made the drop and they are expected to gain the levels. And you know that the deepest sleep of the giant was seen when CHF, USD yen, and also Australian dollar made extreme moves against it. So now it has brought it almost to that of the normal C. So now you find that giant has to undergo sleep, and then you will come across the other majors are expected to show their strength. So this is the type of play you come across in the market. If you take into consideration the multi-year cycles, we'll be able to understand this well. So in 2008, I was not aware of this multi-year trend reversal timings part of it. Then after undergoing the severe setback at that time, I incorporated that component also into my analysis of multi-year studies, and then later on I was able to give how exactly the multi-year moves are expected to happen. I find this is a great achievement as far as my algorithm is concerned, and you find in the month of September that Australian dollar has come below parity, Canadian dollar has gone above parity, and very soon you will come across USD CHF come above parity, and also yen coming quickly above that of 100 in the course of time. So this year you will come across that other majors are expected to gain in the rest of the months. But the denominator currencies are expected to continue to lose against US dollar. With regard to the initial lows and the highs, euro formed the low 1.3410, that was breached and formed 1.3392, and after forming it around 4 GMT, they are not breaching the low 3392, and then high is intact. They made an upward stop and come down. Probably they could revisit high during end of the day. And GBP 5437 is a low that is not being breached, even though they came several times closer to that. And 5511 is the high. They could breach easily the 70 pips gain during that of the close of Japanese session and also early European session. They could breach and go above. That could change the market sentiment. And USD CHF, the low is intact and the high is 91.15. They breached and formed 91.18. So this shows that they intend to hold above and slowly gain the levels, and probably they could make a brief dip in case in the event when euro goes up, but they are not expected to lose all the levels. Then in the case of yen, 76.39, they breached and formed 76.31. So you can find that yen is trying to do more of the downside moves. 76.74 is the high, which is intact. Australian dollar, 97.36 was the initial low. They breached the low because Australian session is active and a lot of traders are holding long position in Australian dollar above parity, and they want them to drop it. And you know that in the case of euro and GBP in 2008, in August, they went up to 1.60 in the case of euro and 2.11 in the case of GBP. And then they started making the drop till year end. And by February of 2009, you have seen euro come to 1.2723 area, and GBP has come below 1.40. In a matter of 4 months, they continue to make the drop. So similarly, you will come across the continuous drop in the case of Australian dollar. And so try to do sell and buy trades whenever they make a very quick rise in tandem with the euro and GBP, and don't think that it will go above parity, and try to take sell position. Use the hedging to limit the risk. And once the position makes profit, keep stop at entry. That way you can do it, and they could halt this drop around 0.88. And in the case of Canadian dollar, 1.0269 is the low, 1.0342 is the high, and they breached the high. 1.0356 has become the high. You can see how aggressively they are gaining the levels in the case of these denominator currencies, and also losing the level in the case of Australian dollar when euro and GBP are making swings. So their euro and GBP have already done this multi-year trend reversals. Only others are trying to do it, and Canadian dollar did not participate that much, but made a drop, and it is trying to recover very fast. It is gained above parity, and Swiss franc is also expected to go above parity soon. All currencies will come to the normal trading zone. In that process, euro could go up to 1.48 and GBP could go to 1.67 areas, etc. That is a long-term forecast, but don't think immediately today itself it can gain. So slowly they will do the intentional move of gaining the levels in the case of euro and GBP today. Those who are focusing on this, they can do buy and sell trade. And those who are doing trades in the case of the currencies which are undergoing multi-year moves, you look for quick drop in the case of USD CHF. Suddenly they make a quick drop and then recover the levels. And the recovery will also be very fast. And during such drop, you try to see that they stop cutting that intermediary low and try to take a buy. You'll be able to quickly book at least 200-300 pips profit in a lesser waiting time frame. Similarly, in the case of Australian dollar, whenever they quickly gain the levels, stop cutting the high or intermediary high, try to take a sell position, and they are expected to drop it. So first of all, plan your type of trade and then choose the timing. Similarly, in the case of Canadian dollar also, whenever they make a quick drop, try to take a buy. You will be able to get good profit, and they are expected to weaken Canadian dollar continuously for a long period, even next year. So I'll not give more than that because you may not be able to remember the forecast. Instead, I'll give on a daily basis and you try to see how exactly the going is. Once you are having comfortable position, which is making good profit, keep stop at entry and try to make a position trade. So less risk or no risk and highest reward trades you can do it. So let me focus the camera over that of the live market code page and take up the questions which are asked here. Arun, what do you expect of GBP and Australian dollar for week beginning and last week of the month? So GBP is expected to gain, Australian dollar is expected to gain nominally and start dropping. Smith. So as you know that Australian dollar may not participate during the upward move in the case of Euro and GBP. Because it is showing, Australian dollar is showing multi-year trend reversal, whereas Euro and GBP are showing wide range swings to create the market sentiment and act against the traders. There is a difference between that. Don't try to relate it, then you get confused. Then Smith. Could we expect Australian dollar may rise in parity? No. They may not give the such higher level for short selling, and they may gain to about 98 or maximum 99 level, and then you have to quickly take a sell, and then after they are expected to drop it. Then EDUC. What is expected of Euro USD? Fall as the support. Euro USD is also expected to gain. Then Lalu. How about GBP CHF? GBP CHF is also expected to gain the levels. We have seen all the downward move during the multi-year trend reversal. Now it is on the up move. So any dip is a buy opportunity. Keep stop at entry in the profit-making buy position. And when they quickly gain the levels and stop cutting the high for more than 30 minutes to 2 hours, book profit and wait for another drop. Don't try to do sell and buy trade, because if you fail to book profit without keeping stop at entry, then they may show loss and they may not revisit those levels. So for example, in the case of CHF, 0.86, 0.83 or 0.87, they are not revisiting so easily. So understand that how they are trying to do it. Then MRM, the guarantee 15% month, I would like to know if you invest about 200k about 1 year. See, I already have enough of managed accounts. So I am fully focused on that. About 37 accounts I'm handling it at the moment. So unless and otherwise somebody withdraws, I will not be able to take fresh accounts. Because I find it is really taking most of my time. I'm not able to spend any time with the family, etc. So I wanted to reduce the managed accounts and just focus more on forecast, because when I make money for others, they think that I'm a money-making machine for them. So I want to be a human. Then Gulam. When I take the initial high and the low, 3:30 GMT, you make a note of the initial lows and the highs. Then Euro USD already made more than 75 pips net change, so we can expect Euro gain only tomorrow. Now Euro has made drop more than 75 pips, but GBP has not done it. So you have to understand overall, if all currencies make predominantly, excepting one, then fine, they may not be able to reverse it. But if one currency they have dropped it and the other currency they are holding it, so that means they are handling the crosses for the beginning, making the moves in the case of crosses. Then once they gain levels in the case of GBP, Euro is expected to reverse. When Euro is gaining more levels, GBP is gaining more levels, Euro cannot drop much. Probably it can hold or slowly gain the levels. Steve, do you think Euro USD will reach 1.41? May not be in this week. It can gain to 1.39. By early next month, we could come across such levels. Hello. What can I expect if your pair breach the initial high or low? Yeah, if the initial, you have to listen to Tracking the Forex Market Together webinar where I explained it. If a pair breaches the high and stay above there for more than 30 minutes, wait for 2 hours to enter sell position, counter trade. Similarly, the pair breaches the low and stay below the low for more than 30 minutes, wait for 2 hours and try to take a buy position. But still use the hedging to limit the risk. That is, they are trying to do the extended move before making an intentional move. So the downside move is an extended move in the case of Euro, and they are expected to breach the initial high 1.3410 and go above, then you'll find that the intentional move or slow gain is expected to happen. Then USD yen, big drop when it is expected. So the big drop is expected anytime. So normally what they do is they do it during that of the Japanese or the US session. As far as yen is concerned, as far as CHF is concerned, they do it during European as well as the US sessions. But yen, they normally do it during that of the Japanese or US session. Japanese session, they cut the low and staying below. Probably US session today, they could make one downward move, creating some sentiments and then reverse it. To reverse some during that particular session. And tomorrow, they can say BOJ has intervened and they started gaining and that sort of stories. So only after the stop point, any government will intervene. That you have to understand. It is a coordinated effect. So they earn on the downside and also earn on the upside. And Robert. Loss can become unlimited when some of the platform providers say no because of the fast market. Your stop has been skipped. Yeah, it's cunning, nothing more than that, Robert. I can say, see, they are supposed to give definite fill. And so if they are not filling your stop, that means they are inducing you to take the market positions. And if you try to take the market positions, it may not be able to fill it. Only thing is you have to keep a higher limit order. Then it will take a definite fill instead of a stop. So you try various methods, otherwise withdraw from the platform, because to my understanding, predominant of the platforms are they give very attractive talk to that of the traders who wanted to open an account, and they say they are waiting to give 24 hours extended service to that particular client who is willing to deposit even $100. But once the account is opened and the money is deposited, you try to call 100 times, they don't even bother about you. And they try to grab it as much as possible. So how long they can earn in a cunning way, and it will be exposed one day or the other, and then later on they will realize only genuine business can sustain in the world for a long time. Then Olympus. Is gold bottoming? No. Some more bottoming. It is also undergoing multi-year trend reversal move. Be careful with regard to gold and silver, and they are expected to make a drastic drop, and crude is also expected to follow. And you know, crude, they just took it in 2008 and took it up to 140 level and then made the drop to 35. Then again they have come to almost to 100 and they have started dropping to 80 area, then 70, 60, 50 like that they are expected to drop. And in the case of gold, from 1,300, 1,365 was considered as a high, and from there they took it up to 1,910 and then they are dropping it. They will not give profit booking opportunities to such high level long holders. And you know, after the multi-year moves, we have to wait for such multi-years to book profit in such positions. This is the rule of the multi-year moves. So if you try to become bullish looking at the chart, then you will be misguided. That's what I can say. Use your common sense also. Then Lalu, how about USD CHF? GBP CHF expecting a drop. GBP CHF is expected to make less drop and more gain moves. Drops are buy opportunities. Then JAG. Usually when I wait 30 minutes after session start, USD CHF is becoming different to trade, usually reaching high. When can we see? When they are near the high and not breach the high, we can only sell. But as far as USD CHF is concerned, it is doing multi-year reversal. So we will not try to sell. So see, they made the drop below that of 0.91. Quickly they gained it up to 91.21. See, they hit the stops again. And they are the only people who can hit the stops on the high side and sell. But if you try to sell, they will trap you because they make the move in such a quick fashion. So only they are authorized to do sell and buy trade in the market. You can only do buy and sell trade because our understanding and trying to earn money from the market is totally different from that of the quick moves what they are making in the market. So unless and otherwise you watch it very carefully, sell and buy trade, you may miss it very drastically. Whereas when they drop fully and the low they breach, you do a stop and then you try to buy. That will be a safe trade. If not, you have to buy it at 90.29. It is not necessary. Tomorrow again, they may show 91.40 as the low and just try to breach. At that time, you try to buy. Then ultimately what is important for us is after our buy, they are supposed to rise. Keep that in mind. The level is not important for us. We should earn money. Whether you buy it at 1.35 and book profit at 1.3550 or buy it at 1.34 and book profit at 1.3450, the money what you earned as 50 pips is not going to say that this money was earned with the entry of 1.34. This money was earned with the entry of 1.35. It's not going to say that. Ultimately, it is considered as profit. That's all. So whenever they are near the high, you just watch CHF. Whenever they make a quick drop, in the case of CHF, you try to buy. If you don't get a buy opportunity, don't enter into the running bus in DDBT. How much downward move do you see the case of Euro and GBP? I think it is much limited in the move. What are the expected trading levels for Euro and GBP? Euro and GBP are expected to gain about 300 to 400 pips in this particular week from the current levels. That is what 1.39 and 1.59 could be seen. That's what I said earlier in Gulam. Now, can I buy Euro? Yeah, in a demo you just buy it and keep hedging order. Any level you buy, I will not recommend this is the fine-tuned buy level. Because in the market, they are the authorities, the players of the authorities. They know where the stops are. So if you try to buy and keep a stop, they may hit the stops and go up. So instead, if you avoid keeping the stop and all are avoiding keeping the stop, they know very well all are taking the buy position. They make 100 pips drop and induce you to liquidate. So it is extremely difficult to handle it such way. The best way is to use the hedging order. So if you use the hedging order, let them fill it and just observe whether the hedging is making profit or not. If the hedging is not making profit, then you close it and keep another hedging order. We have to continuously do that until that we are able to keep stop entry in the buy position. And if the hedging is making profit on the downside, try to book it. So that will act as a cushion against your higher level buy. Once they start gaining the level, and you will be able to earn profit on either way moves of the market. So market requires enormous patience and understanding. And in Ravi, Euro has dropped. It is the weak beginning false move. Okay, yeah, it is like a weak beginning false move, but only in the case of Euro they have done it, not in GBP. And Australian dollar they had dropped nominally. About 99 pips drop has happened. Then what is expected of Australian dollar? How much downward move is expected in Australian dollar? Australian dollar, I explained that more drop and less rise moves are expected. So whenever they rise, you try to take sell positions. When the high has not been breached for more than 30 minutes to 2 hours. Please give some general comments about global equity market. Global equity markets are expected to recover in this week, and afterwards they are expected to make the month beginning false move of drop in the month of early October and start gaining the levels again. Till year end, the equity market is expected to slowly gain the levels and gain the confidence. Then Jack. Can we trade USD in mid-session times? Yeah, we can definitely. When it is near the low or that level has not been breached for during the mid sessions, you can take a buy position. I explained it many times how you can estimate the intermediary levels. It is not that Fibonacci retracement, etc. They come to a particular level, beyond that they don't go. They specifically do it so that those who have gone short are not booking profit. At the same time, those who have gone long try to liquidate the long position. They try to go to such levels. And statistically, you can estimate it, but you won't be knowing up to what level, whether it is 31.8 or 61.8 or 50%. You won't be knowing beforehand. After that, we can say that Fibonacci retracement has happened. So, but if you watch it in the live market code page, they come up to that particular level. Beyond that, they don't go below. And there, you try to take a buy position. Then Australian dollar expected to reach higher sell today. Yeah, either today or tomorrow it could gain some levels. After that, you can do sell and buy trade around 98, 99 level. Wait for such moves. They could do it suddenly. When traders sell here, liquidate the long, afterwards they have to trap the short sellers, lower level short sellers. Because in Australian dollar, people might think that support has been breached and the resistance, support is now turned to resistance, so it could go down and try to sell. Then they make a pullback and induce them to do the short covering before making a next drop. Because if they continue to drop 100 pips every day, in a matter of about 1 month or 2 months, it has to come to 0.00000. Can it be possible? In USD-CHF, what level is expected to rise? What is expected in Euro-CHF? That's what I explained. Do you conduct your Forex training online? Yeah, I am giving it through the online chat only, the Forex training, and send the lessons beforehand for them to read. Matthew, when can you can send me an email, then I'll explain to you more about it. Matthew, when can we expect aggressive gains in Euro? From next month onwards, you'll come across aggressive gains in the case of Euro and GBP when they hold USD CHF and USD Yen. And sometimes you come across opposite of what you come across today now. Euro GBP and USD Yen showing negative net change. Next month you will come across Euro GBP and Yen showing positive net change very frequently. And Robert, market is nothing but a confluence of play. Yeah, obviously, it is a smart play. How can we tell which crosses are being worked? You have to see the net changes where you come across active moves. Then you will be able to see now Euro Yen, Euro USD and Euro Yen. They are making that dip. It's a contrarian move. As a result, Euro Yen is making more drop. So this way you will be able to understand which currency they are handling at a given time. I explained it in my trading system. Please go through it. When market will come to normal mode? Yeah, it has almost come to normal mode now. You come across Australian dollar below parity, Canadian dollar above parity. Only these two majors, USD-Yen and CHF. USD-Yen has to go above parity and Yen has to go above 100. Very soon you will come across that. They are trying to take the option expiry time for USD-Yen to make the reversal move. That could be a very aggressive move in the case of USD-Yen. A quick downward and a big rise expected. Try to participate in that and grab as much possible profit as possible. Once you have taken the buy position during the drop, try to keep stop at entry after about 30 minutes. Do you expect to see Australian dollar 0.96? Yeah, it could go further down. What is your email? Okay. What about Euro and GBP? I'll display my email. Can you please explain your hedging technique? That has been explained in my trading system teach. You kindly go through my trading system webinars. There I explain the trading strategies. You'll be able to get the explanations there. So you do a little bit of homework. Already we had taken effort to give the 10 webinar series and recorded it and displayed in FX Trade. for the benefit of newcomers, because we don't expect everybody to come on a particular day and learn about it. That is why we have kept the recorded version. So anytime you become interested in Forex and you like to know more about my trading system, then you can go through that as an additional input in your analysis. Then if you find useful, then these webinars you will be able to understand very well. Then truly. Do you see rise in euro? Yes. What can we see in USD CHF? You have parity, but not immediately, probably next month or so, you could see. Then Jason, can we start building buy position in euro and GBP? Yes, definitely. Do you see DOG intervention in this week? Yeah, likely when they make a very quick drop, then everybody will say DOG is on the card. Okay, so that is how the games are set. You know that how SNB intervened, and they did intervene this time with USD CHF. They said euro CHF. So every time earlier, just about 3-4 months back, they said that CHF has dropped so much, so we want to do just strengthen it. Then later on, euro CHF. So they use different terminologies and different ideas they give, but ultimately, who is doing this sort of aggressive buying and selling? People may not be knowing the truth. That's what I can tell you. And we only talk about interventions. Now, expected market moves, swing and firm up during that of the Japanese session. Slowly they are expected to firm up. Euro, they are also firming up. GBP is also firming up. Then European session, a small swing and further firming up could be seen. Then swing and rise moves are expected in the case of euro and GBP. And the denominator currency USD CHF and USD CAD, they are expected to hold the gains and make nominal higher level swings. USDN could, anytime in this particular week, could do a quick downward move. So the possibilities are 28th, 29th, and 30th. Any one of the days, they could make a sudden downward move and a big aggressive gain could be seen in the case of USD-Yen. Wait for such moves, then try to take buy positions in the case of Yen and Yen crosses. Patiently wait, you will get the best reward possible in the market. So with regard to initial low, euro breached the initial low, but it has come above that of the initial low after 2 hours. A brief downward stop in there, brief extended downward stop in there made. And in the case of GBP, they are not still breached the low. That means it is a false move up to the low. That means they wanted to definitely breach the high. In CHF, they breached the high and staying above that of the high, 0.9117. They are holding it now. Probably 0.91 could be the support level. Probably they may make a brief downward stop and below that of 0.91 and start gaining the levels afterwards. And always keep in mind, quick moves are false moves, slow moves are intentional moves. And when they slowly drop CHF, don't buy. Let them come up to that low, afterwards you buy. When they quickly drop and gain, then you buy. Then it means they wanted to make a downward stop and before making further rise. So this you have to differentiate only by looking into that of the live market put page. If you look for 5-minute chart, it will wait for 5 minutes to display that candle. By the time you would have missed the move. Then Australian dollar, they breached the low and they are staying still below that of the initial low. So recovery might be very slow here. Probably tomorrow they could recover and just induce the short sellers to do the short covering and continue the drop from Wednesday. Then Canadian dollar, they breached the high 1.0342 and staying comfortably above this and closer to the high, they are staying new high. So you can understand how they are making aggressive moves in the case of the currencies which have undergone multi-year trend reversal moves. So I take this opportunity to thank FX Street and also you people who have come here to listen to my webinar. Again, I'll come back tomorrow and continue to review the market along with you during the Asian session and see how exactly the market is making the moves, we'll try to do the market reading and also use the forecast and see how far the forecast is giving us the expected market moves beforehand. And my email ID, somebody asked, and it is there, doctor@inowindices.com, I-KNOWINDICES.com, and my MSN Messenger ID is I without hyphen, inowindices@hotmail.com. So you can contact me anytime, or just go to inowindices.com, my website, and just click there, contact, and also the live chat. You'll be able to send email to me, and I'll be willing to answer to your questions and try to give you some sort of motivations to do same trades in the market. Thank you all and all. See you tomorrow.